It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Good afternoon, Sherlrina. I want to welcome you to Mind Your Business. As you know, this is our weekly talk show where we talk to entrepreneurs like yourself about your business and your journey through entrepreneurship. So, Sherlrina Thomas, and you're owner of Nia Concierge.
Yes.
So, before we get into talk about Nia Concierge, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
About me? Well, I am a badass.
Hey, this is a family show.
Exclusively, politely, in the sense of that I overcome challenges.
Okay.
I am an overcomer. I am a mom of one, 6-year-old, very feisty little 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I love arts. I love my me time. And I enjoy being social now and again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about your entrepreneurial journey. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
To be honest, coming up through Bermuda public school system, it never really occurred to me to be my own business owner.
Yeah.
But after working in local businesses from the age of 16, you kind of saw like there's opportunity here, there's opportunity there, and then certain things started to ping off as I advanced through my education. I was like, maybe I can do this.
Right.
And my dad and my uncle, they both are technically entrepreneurs. They have their own DJ businesses.
Okay.
Which they didn't even think they were entrepreneurs, but they actually were. They are. I was like, okay, Thomas has been doing this for a while.
Right.
Carpenters, everybody. I was like, okay, I can do it.
So you basically kind of modeled, you had someone there and you saw what it looked like to kind of run your own business and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Nia Concierge, why Nia Concierge? What made you do that instead of something else?
Nia Concierge, meaning the name of the actual business.
The actual business. Like, what is it?
So Nia Concierge, we are and I'm going to say we, it's because it's collective. We are a team of bookkeepers and administrators. So we literally assist our clients in all different niches of the island, assist them in correcting their financials in any area. So what we mainly have been doing recently since COVID is helping entrepreneurs come out of the red into the green, as I call it. And they're also managing their responsibilities. So I don't call it debt. We call it responsibilities.
Okay.
And a lot of responsibility management is being done right down to payroll tax, social insurance, health insurance, and just making sure that they're doing the right things with their funds and how they're using their funds within their businesses to get them to that healthy stance where they used to be before COVID.
Right, right. I mean, I think you said growing up, you worked in a lot of, different small businesses and all of that. So did you recognize then that there was a need or a gap for that type of support? And is that what kind of put you on the path to where you ended up starting this business or this?
Yes. So my first job was a family-owned business, and it took the owner a while to admit, the finances were pretty rough. Like they weren't really able to pay their mortgage at that time. And when they finally admitted it, it was almost too late.
Yeah.
And then the recession from 2008 that hit us in like 2012.
Yeah.
I came in from university. I couldn't really get a job. And I saw a lot of our local owned businesses shutting down rapidly, just closing their doors. I can't do it. I don't have any money. And I was like, what is going on? And when you had the conversations or overhear them, you heard them saying, well, I didn't have a reserve. I was in the red all this time, but everything was smooth. So I just figured I'll just keep going the way I was. And then the recession came and I just had to let it all go. And I realized then the bow kind of went off like, oh, there is a need, but there's no one there for the smaller business or medium-sized businesses to help them. You have the accountants that are there for the larger establishments, but there's no one assisting with the day-to-day, and that's when Nia Concierge comes in. And that's what bookkeepers are. We actually manage your day-to-day financials. And we're a lot more affordable than an accountant in that though we may not have that huge designation, we are designated.
Yeah.
Bookkeepers are designated and certified. And we do what we do on your daily finances and get you where you need to be so you can manage your clients and your front end while we take care of the back end.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's important because we see it all the time. Like businesses that have been in existence for 15, 20, 30 years even.
Yes.
And don't have a proper kind of system in place to manage that back end, like you said. So we know it's a need. Like
it is. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are afraid to talk about their finances.
Yeah.
It's almost like a shame thing. But
Yeah.
if you really look at it, it's more than you would think.
Yeah.
That are out there that have the same issues that you would have or they would have as an individual with their business finances. Just like your personal finances.
Yeah.
People have issues with their business finances, and it's not uncommon. It's not something to be afraid of. There's help.
Yeah.
We're here to help you. We're here to work with you.
Yeah. And I think it's different. Like you mentioned the accountants, the big, 5 firms and things like that. It's a whole different type of requirement or skill set, I would say, to manage a small business with, like you said, bookkeeping than it is like auditing a business. Those are two different things.
Big difference.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is accountants don't really have to face their clients too often. It's almost like, if you ever really met a typical accountant, and I say typical being quite general.
Yeah.
Most of them are not people. They're very introverted people, and God bless them, they're phenomenal behind the computer. But when they have to actually meet a client, they're like, is it over yet? I'm had enough. Whereas us as bookkeepers, I'm like, yeah, I'm right there in your face. I'm having a conversation. Where do you want to meet? I'm on the phone. I'm on the email. I'm on everything. Just trying to make sure we have that connection. And that's something that you won't get with an accountant firm.
Right.
You won't get that person coming to you and spending time with you and not being on the clock.
Right.
Yes, there's a consultation fee, but it's not an hour per dime.
Right.
We one set fee, and we're here to listen, to talk, and to help you. And you don't have to sign, but at least we gave you something in that consultation to walk away with.
And do you find that it makes a difference for your clients in terms of, because you're so personable? Because like you said, it is scary. Like people don't want people to know I ain't done my accounts or my books for the last 5 years. Shh, don't tell nobody. So do you find that because you're so personable, it helps them or eases kind of that conversation?
It certainly does. That Bermudian blend, special spice that we have, that I feel is what really makes a difference between myself and my competition, is that I literally come out to you and I'm personable. I'm here with you. Sometimes, we have clients and the businesses are like, the doors are shut, and I'm coming in and I'm saying, well, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
And they're like, please don't look up. I'm like, I'm not looking at anything else but you.
Right.
And there's no judgment cross. There's literally just you and I. I come with a complete blank mind.
Yeah.
And we're just talking it out.
That in itself is a skill set. You know what I mean? When you talk about differentiating factors and how do you separate yourself from the rest of the firms that are out there, that is really important. I feel especially for small businesses. My first boss here, when I started at BDC, she said to me, Michelle Caldoon, shout out to Michelle. She said, you have to meet people where they are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that everybody has that skill. So that you do, and you're able to do that, I think is probably why, the business is successful and that you are able to get clients. So kudos to you on that, because that's not, people don't all have that. They're like, I know the numbers. Like you said, we're going to be behind the scenes. Give me the numbers and I'll crunch them for you. But having the personality and making people feel comfortable, I think is really, really a huge asset, especially when your clients are in this, your stakeholders are small businesses. Yes. Yeah.
And the environment makes people even more timid.
Yeah.
To even come out and say, I'm having a problem. And like, how in church to say, close your eyes and raise your hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't even want to do that because I think somebody's speaking.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no judgment pass.
Yeah.
Because there's, as much as people believe that there's like a special sauce to running a business, your sauce is different from someone else's. Your tomato sauce is going to have a little more basil or oregano than the next person's.
Right.
So you can talk to someone, but when you have that one-on-one with someone to help you manage your finances And the other aspect is I don't tell you what to do. I will coach you through it.
Yeah.
That's another piece. I don't consult. If you want consulting, that's one thing, but I primarily coach my clients through their finances to get them where they would like to be.
Talk about the difference, because some people, like, they both C's, they sound the same. What's the difference?
Hands down, consulting is us telling you what to do, where to put it, and how to do it. So you say you want to pay down on your payroll tax. Okay, fine. Well, I'm looking at your numbers. You can afford, let's say off the moon, $500. And I say, okay, whatever you say, Nia. And some people call me Nia. I'm like, okay.
I know. Trust, I did too. I was like, Nia. They're like, no, her name is not Nia.
No, but I answer to it. And then otherwise, I'm like, okay. How comfortable are you with putting a number down? What number feels comfortable to you based on what you can see right now?
Right.
I said, don't think about anybody else. Think about yourself. What are you comfortable with doing? Not what they want you to put down.
Right.
What are you comfortable with? And then they literally like, I'm prepared to do X.
Right. Right.
And they actually feel a lot more at ease with it. And they're more committed to the goal when they have chosen the number as opposed to someone else choosing for them.
Okay, I see. Look at you over here counseling and stuff.
I'm not. No counseling. No.
It sounds like it.
It does sound like it. Coaching is literally us or myself pulling it out of you. Right. You have the answers. And that's another aspect to the service where if you don't necessarily want us to touch your numbers, that's fine. But I'll coach you through using your numbers and to adjust your numbers. Yeah. And then I use different tools. Another friend from high school, she actually created her own budgeting template book that's actually Bermuda related. Okay. So the Frugal Onion, shout out to Sylvia. And I've actually endorsed her book with some of my coaching clients that are strictly on coaching basis to help them manage their finances.
Okay. Well, that's great. You might need to have her on here because I think all the tools help, right? Yes. And I think part of the process is helping people feel confident and comfortable actually diving in, because some people, like, you know how you stick your head in the sand, the ostriches, they like, if I don't see it, then it doesn't exist. Everything's fine until, like you said, it's too late. And now you're like, oh crap, now I have to pull this thing back from the dead. Yes. So I want to talk a little bit about your experience now as an entrepreneur. How long has Nia Concierge been in existence?
Girl, COVID hit around 2020. Yeah. So Nia just past 2 years. Okay. Just past 2 years in July. We're in our third year, and this is my first year full time in the business since January of this year. And wow, it's not for the faint of heart. No. It's not for somebody who, let me hold your hand while you cry. No. I cry, I laugh, sometimes I scream, but I'm grounded enough and have a wonderful support system of, I call them sisterpreneurs. And then my extended entrepreneur family, thanks to being the BC incubator. And we all help each other through those moments. So there's never a time where I'm not picking up the phone. I'm like, yo, I'm about to jump off this cliff. And I'm like, come back. Don't do it. About to go get a full-time job. Yeah. That first January to March, that quarter, quarter two, technically, in Bermuda government financial calendar. Yeah. That's the toughest quarter because after Christmas, nobody wants to spend any money. Exactly. And I'm like, I'm about to go get a full-time job. Nope, come back, Nia, come back. I think that's important what you mentioned about having a support system. Yes. Because a lot of times the theme around entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur is that it's a lonely road, right? Because nobody is prepared to put in the hours and put in the time as you are when it comes to building your business. And oftentimes you can feel isolated away from people who maybe do have a 9-to-5, or they're like, I don't know why that girl works so hard. She might as well just go get a regular job, right? Exactly. And it is lonely. I remember recently I was like, I'm so alone. Yeah. There's nobody else doing finance but me. Yeah. Ooh, but I'm like, you know what? That's why I call myself a bad A double Z. Yes. Because, and actually somebody gave me that title because I literally just pulled out my socks, tied my sneakers, and kept on going. Yeah. Kept on going. Yeah. Because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it?
That's what I ask everybody every time. Like, if you're not minding your business, who's doing it? Right?
Yeah.
Nobody can do it but you.
Yeah, nobody's got that spice like Nia does.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, you're bringing up a lot of different points because some people are like, well, I don't want to do it because somebody else is doing it. And
Please.
But like you said, you have your own spice. You have your own way that you're delivering on this service, and it's working for you.
Yes.
So I do want to talk a little bit about the Enterprise Bermuda.
Yeah.
You are in the program, and I just want to. Why did you apply? Because it sounds like you were in there going. So what made you apply to the program?
From the outside looking in, yeah, she's got it going on. She's doing it all. Let me tell you, I applied to the program because I knew when I started Nia, I didn't want her to be a small, out of my mom's dining room business.
Right.
I wanted her to be on Front Street with our own floor, looking out onto the harbor. That's the dream of Nia, having her own glass store. And in order to get there, I knew I needed help from BDC to get there. I have spoken with, right off the top of my head, Mr. Lambert. He's been a phenomenal asset in helping me, especially with the incorporation matter. And Nia will be a LLC soon. The name is reserved. Thank you. So look out for that. That will be a big. But BDC, just the fact that you have somebody who, when you said you needed help, they said, yeah, we'll help. And on my interview, I was like, well, this is what I want to do. So can you accept the challenge? And I think it was you. I was like, challenge accepted. Right. And I was like, yay, let's go. Like, when did we start? And honestly, ever since then, like, I've been talking to different people on the side, and they've all been helping. And the program itself is beautiful in the fact that there are a lot of different dynamics of entrepreneurs in our group. Our cohort is the biggest cohort. Yes. I think it was like 32.
Yes, exactly.
And usually it's 8, but the fact that you have those like myself that are like little seasons. You know, our babies are crawling, and then some people's babies are still incubating, and then some babies are not even born yet. They're just a idea. And we all come together and we talk, we chat, we help each other. And I'm talking to people, I see them on the street, but we're like friends. We're like family now. And we literally make it a thing where we have our sessions on Tuesdays. After class, we're going out to dinner, and what are we doing? Talking about our babies.
Love it. I love it. I mean, that's exactly what it's supposed to be, right? Yes. Like, going back to that whole narrative about entrepreneurship being lonely. I mean, especially in Bermuda, it's small enough to where we should be supporting each other. Yes. You know what I mean? I love the way you describe Nia, and that it's a collective. Yes. You know what I mean? Because that's what you need. Who says you have to do the thing by yourself? Especially when they're like-minded people. And speaking about the other CEOs in your group or in your cohort, people are doing different things, right?
Yes. We have, I'm the finance person, but we have DeRosia. Fee's been doing massages for years, and now she's moved into her own brand of products. And then we have Astoria from Lacquered in St. George's, and Astoria's been doing the wax and the mani and the patties, but on a holistic side. You would think, oh my God, they're kind of like competitors. No, they're really not. They do 2 different things, and they cater to a whole different niche.
And for me, it's nice to see how you can build each other up, right? Because I think in Bermuda, a lot of times people hold their businesses or their ideas close to their chest because it's so small. They're like, somebody gonna take my stuff and they're gonna do. But if you are open, then that person might be the person that actually helps you to expand your offering and all that kind of stuff. So can you talk a little bit more about how you guys engage with each other outside of the classroom and all of that?
Outside of the classroom? Yeah. Lord, I love when we have to come to class, because after class, you literally get to just debrief. Like, you get to just let it all out, and however it comes out, that's how it comes out. In saying that, I'm like, oh man, I need to hire somebody, but I don't really want to hire. So my mate Corey says, well, why don't you Bermuda College and seek out one of those students. I say, yes. I'm going to get me an intern.
That's right.
And I'm going to do it the American way. I'm going to do it that way where, you know, we're not working for free. You're working towards your stipend.
That's
your stipend is performance-based. But it also gives that student
the experience
that they need to go into the industry.
Right. That's right.
Which is like, when you graduate, I'm ready to jump in, but I ain't got no experience.
Right.
Well, that's one of the things Nia is committed to doing, is giving the community the opportunity to gain that experience. I would love to give a ton of interns experience, but right now, one is good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to when I have that continued discussion with Bermuda College.
Yeah.
To get that intern in.
And I think that is the opportunity sometimes we miss, right? Yes. Because you're so busy, like, okay, I'm plugging through and I'm working in my business, making sure everything is working. But there's opportunity to get the support that you need without technically having to pay for it.
Yes.
Because
you don't have to always pay for it.
And it's a win-win, right? Because you're both getting something.
Yes, and it's also called Ask for Help. So that's one thing we do as a collective outside of the actual incubator programs or classes. We help each other out. So we have one person that's like, well, how am I going to finance my business? And I'm like, well, sis, first of all, you don't have to do everything.
Right.
If you just want to get, so someone wants to do a mobile optometrist. And I'm like, you can just get your equipment and your vehicle and maybe contract out the lenses and the glasses to somebody else. So you can still do what you need to do while building up your finances to get to that next step. And they're like, I didn't think of it like that. And I'm like, yeah.
And I really, really, I mean, like, to me, you're like a poster child. I'm like, it's working, you know?
It works. It works. It does work. Full transparency, though. If you can save as you're transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship, then do so. Because I did that. And I'm going, good Lord, it helped. Yeah. It helped, especially for that slow January to March quarter when I was about to go and apply for a full-time job. It worked. And it's also being transparent with your team. Because I have a team of 3 at Corinth. And I'm like, well, guys, we're kind of waiting for a little payment here. Yeah. But I'll give you something. Yeah. You definitely always get something. Yes. And when it comes in, you'll get the rest. Yeah. And it's being fully transparent. And I think that's another thing that people are afraid of doing is saying that I don't have it. What's the shame in saying to somebody and being honest than to just be, oh, it's coming. Bro, I've got rent to pay. Right. But it's coming. Right.
I think that's important. And I think one of the things that I've seen is that some entrepreneurs, they want to appear that everything is perfect. I'm straight. Like, I don't need help. I got this. Meanwhile, they in the back crying like, I don't know how I'm gonna make payroll. And I think what you're saying is true, but it takes people years sometimes to get to the level where they feel comfortable enough to tell their employees that I don't have it all together. Like, I need your support. I need you to help me help. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. Like,
it's huge. And it's also being honest with yourself. Yeah. And it's also saying, I need help. And it's also saying yes to accepting the help. So that's one of the things I learned as becoming a coach is being honest, being true, and saying yes and saying, I need help. Yeah. And support is sexy. Yeah. Support is sexy. Yes, support is sexy.
I love it.
It's nothing wrong with having a little support.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And that's what we're here. I mean, through the Enterprise Bermuda program, like you said, it's grown from 8 to now 32. This is the first time. And so we're like, wait a minute now. How are we going to do this? But our hope is that as people go through this program, like, you're coming out on the other end, better for it, having made these connections. And so all of you as entrepreneurs that go through this program and are successful graduates of the program, now the ecosystem is building and growing, right? So
bigger, better. Yeah. And you know what ends up happening though? You may actually come into the program like, oh, I need somebody to help me fund my baby. Yeah. And you might just be in the program and get the funding that you need from the people right there next to you every day or every week for the next 12 months.
Yep. And that to me is is, like I said, I feel like you're the poster child, because everything that you're saying is exactly what we envisioned happening when we created the program. It's like, we need to create opportunities for other entrepreneurs, like-minded people, to network with each other.
Yes.
Support each other and be each other's next client or customer.
And that's just it. That is just it. You're each other's next client, investor. You're there helping them to create their brainchild, their baby. You're helping them deliver something into the community to not just better them, but better yourself and the community as a whole.
Yeah.
And you never know where the opportunity can go.
That's very true.
Who says if I partner with one of our up-and-coming entrepreneurs that business doesn't take off? And he's like, yeah, you're ready? I'm like, yeah, where you want to go next? What's next?
That's right. That's right.
That's how it should be. Networking is key. Collaboration is key. The atmosphere has changed. There's no more of keeping it to yourself and trying to figure it out on your own. We're all in the same boat with a different paddle. And it's nothing wrong with passing your paddle to somebody else, or sharing it, or splitting it in half in order to make it more effective in the process.
So you can have this. We're going to have some Nia-isms. We're going to create a book. And we're going to be like, these are Nia-isms because you are saying something today, right? Because I feel like all of the things that you're saying are part of creating this kind of flourishing kind of ecosystem in Bermuda, because it's small enough for us to be helping each other be successful. You know what I mean?
There's enough money in this country for everybody to eat.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason why another brother or sister has to be starving and struggling to make it.
Yeah.
When we all have knowledge and bits and pieces that we can add to them to get them to the next level.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna have to watch this back and be like, okay, I'm gonna write this down.
And you know what's funny? I actually made a conscious decision to intentionally be transparent and as open as I possibly can with any interview that I've been on. And this would be my second one this week. But I'm like, yeah, let's just be honest. Yeah. Let's just be open. Let's be real about what's really happening. Because you see the Gorms and the Masters, they started somewhere else. The Gibbonses, it's family. Yeah, it's family money. But who started that money train?
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes it takes you in 2022 to start the generational success and wealth train.
That's right. That's right. And if that's what your ultimate goal is, to build legacy for your family, then what does that look like? Are you thinking about it from that standpoint? What are the things that you have to put in place to ensure that the legacy lives on well beyond you, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's important. These are questions we have to ask.
You do.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the challenges, right?
Yes.
Because I know.
Please.
I know, it sounds great. We're like, yes, kumbaya, entrepreneurship, but we know that it's not all that. We know that it can be hard. So can you talk to me, maybe just one of the things that was a challenge for you and how you kind of overcame that and got, like you said, pulled up your boots and tied your socks and tied your shoes and pulled up the socks. So share with us one of those.
I have one that I always tell people, and people like to use this word failure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use that word. We're going to use mistakes.
Okay.
Because Thomas Edison had how many mistakes until he got the light bulb? I believe, I read it the other day, I believe it's over 1,000, 10,000, I want to say, mistakes. They called it failures, but it's actually a mistake. So he finally got a light bulb. And my first mistake was I chose to go full-time working for another establishment while still birthing Nia Concierge. And there was a matter of I wasn't meeting the client's deadline, my client's deadlines. The full-time job was taking so much out of me that I didn't have the energy to even give that client. And this client needed my support. They needed us to get them to the next level. And there was a lot of words exchanged from the client's side. And I was hurt. I was hurt. And it's Bermuda, so everybody knows everybody. Yeah. And I was hurt. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm about to just throw this laptop away. I'm about to just shut it all down, because we only had maybe like 4 clients at the time. And the payroll tax. So I was like, I can survive over that and just, get another full-time job.
Right.
And then I politely got dismissed from the full-time job. And I was like, God, okay, cool. And I was like, you know what? The mistake I made with the client is a learning curve.
Right.
I learned from that, and I made a mental note of what I'm not going to do next time.
Right.
And I'm not going to dedicate myself full time to another person's dream again.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be a financial boost. It helped me learn a lot.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled. That full-time job, I learned a lot.
Right.
That helped me with my business.
Okay.
So I would give it to God and divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that your mistakes are always an opportunity to make it right for the next person.
That's right.
And to turn it around and not beat yourself up for it because you're not perfect.
Right.
And that entrepreneur's not perfect either. They've made their own mistakes and they've progressed to where they were at having their own business. So mistakes happen and there's a shift. There's a shift, S-H-I-F-T, that occurs when things fall from the sky. And it was hard. It was hard because I was like, I put so much into this client and then they just like, I'm done. I even had to give them back like 2 months of the retainer. I was like, oh my God, I just put somebody on. But I was like, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
Shifts occur.
Yeah.
Shifts happen. You made a mistake. You acknowledged it. Move forward and do better. You know better, so do better.
Yeah. And I think that's important too, because we've had conversations with other entrepreneurs. Like you said, you're birthing this. It's like your baby. And you ain't finna talk about my baby.
No.
Okay?
No. That's somebody running around talking about, Nia did, no. And that was I was afraid of that, but thank God it didn't happen.
Right. But sometimes you get so close and you're treating that business like it really is your child that sometimes the criticism or critiques falls on deaf ears, right? And so you end up not addressing, not learning, not shifting, like you said, because you're like, don't talk about my baby. My baby is perfect and it's you. But
and I admit, like at first, you know, the client was saying what they had to say and I was like,
right.
Real Jamaican, like long suck teeth. And I was like, she knows what she's talking about.
Right.
But I stepped back and I said, you know what? She's right. The client is right. Thank you for the opportunity for the full-time experience. I now know better, so I'm going to do better. I listened to the client. He's no longer my client, but I've taken those shifts and applied them to the continuing journey of Nia.
Yeah. And I think that's important. That's all you can do, right? And I think it also speaks to, like you said, you're a bad ass. What's an ass? Yes, because recognizing that and using that, like it takes years for people, trust me, to come and accept that conclusion. You can go on any day on Maja's list, right? And
I was like, oh, and that actually happened to me though, but she didn't name me.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, oh, well, you can contact Nia Concierge. And I read it. And I found out the person who referred me. And I said, she was already one of ours.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able to help her.
Yeah.
Because there's, it was with taxes.
Yeah.
With taxes, there's either you get it or you don't get it. And as much as I knew at that particular point, sometimes you're not able to give the horse the water that they need. Yeah. And that's what happened. But I learned from that and I said, okay, that client didn't get it. I felt really upset about it. Yeah. She literally ran on Marsha's list, but thank God she didn't name us. But I was like, okay, so we need to shift the way we teach.
Right.
So I need to do something different the next time I teach. And I've been taking notes and mental notes. And it's coming out, guys. I'm going to drop it now that there is a training that's coming out.
Okay.
From Nia on how to do your payroll taxes.
Awesome.
We are going to be offering a training. It's going to be recorded.
Okay.
But it's going to be step by step of how to do that. I'm going to drop it right here, right now.
All right. Look, you heard it here first.
Yes, you heard it here first. Not on Instagram, but right here.
No, I think that's awesome. And that speaks to listening and understanding what people need. So look, you done took that experience, which wasn't, overwhelmingly positive, and flipped it to create something that I think everybody, all these small businesses can
Yes.
actually use and benefit from, because that is one of the things that most people grumble about. Is like all of these taxes and fees and all of that government obligations, I should say, that you have to pay as a business owner, can be, like you said, you put your head in the sand and be like, somebody gonna do it. I don't know who that somebody is, but they gonna do it, and it's
Somebody
gonna be okay.
Take care of it. And yeah, that's one of the biggest things is the payroll tax. People are like, whatever, I'm not doing it. And the letters keep coming and coming. And then they're like, I need help.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what happened to when we first were talking and things were, in the green turning yellow.
Yeah.
Now it's red. It's a totally different conversation now.
Right.
But it's manageable. And what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that what you pay to your taxes, the payroll tax commissioner's office, that helps to keep our buses on the road.
Yes.
That helps to keep the education system funded. That pays government workers. That pays your mama, your auntie, your nana, and somebody else. Some people themselves, it pays them. So a lot of people like to run from their payroll taxes. But after creating a very understanding, respectful relationship with the tax commissioner's office, which is what I did on my own to learn more and to be able to make sure that they get their job done. I now better understand why you need to do your taxes, why it's important that you pay them. And don't evade it. It's not like the IRS. We're not coming for your house. They just want you to make your payments so that the country can operate.
And I think one of the things that I think is important, especially for small businesses, is sometimes you get caught up with, I'm going to provide this service or this offering for less because people charge too much, right? And then when you do that, now you don't have the true cost of running and operating your business, which then leads to you saying, well, I can't pay that because I'm only charging this, right? So it's like this knock-on effect. Yes. And I think you have a opportunity to get in early with people and say, no, you have to include these things before you set your price for services so that it doesn't become an issue. You've already put that in and factored that in, so you can pay those taxes. You can pay social insurance.
And health insurance. And I do sit down with you and help you to price your products and services.
Yeah.
So that you can meet your personal, business, and other obligations. So other meaning your staff or if you want to do donations, community work, fine. But you need to price yourself properly the first time in order to make things profitable.
That's right. And one thing I can say, so BDC, we offer these multi-week courses. Of course, as part of the incubator, you get to attend all of them at no cost. And one of the ones when you get to Entrepreneurship 101 is talking specifically about that. And then we have a separate costing and pricing. So you're factoring all of that stuff that you learn, what you got to do, into what your final price is. And I think sometimes that's where people go wrong, right?
They do.
And
someone say, well, you're already in finance. Why are you in BDC? Because I can never know too much.
Yeah.
There's never anything that I do not need to learn to improve Nia and to assist our clients as we progress.
Yeah.
So right now we're learning about the entrepreneurship mindset.
Yeah.
And Uncle Cleve was a freed slave who started selling ice. What black man you know that's a freed man that's like, oh, I'm going to sell ice? He saw a need, he filled it. And that's literally what we do as entrepreneurs. And sometimes, the videos might be a little dry to some people, but when you really sit down and listen, you hear things like opportunistic adaptation, where you may have done, let's say you were doing acrylic nails, COVID hit, and you started doing press-ons. Yeah. That's an opportunistic adaptation to the climate that you're currently in. There's always something to learn. Even when we did the Entrepreneurship 101, I'm quite sure Dante's going to teach me something else about finances I was like, I was kind of sitting on that, but thank you. Thank you for lighting that match to make me move.
Right.
And you, like I said, you can never know too much.
Right. And I do want to go back to what you said in terms of the groups that the entrepreneurial CEO groups that you've formed afterwards, after your classes. So it's not just about the learning that takes place in the class. It's the opportunity to get those things you would not have gotten if you had not come together. You know what I mean?
Wonderful people.
Yeah.
I call them wonderful because we help each other. It's a whole different light. It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
Or a way of thinking from what you normally think is the trained tunnel vision, and you have someone else coming and intersecting in the tunnel, and they're like, well, try this.
Yeah.
And you try it. I'm like,
it actually worked.
That's pretty good, actually. I'm just going to, adapt and bring this along.
Yeah.
And keep going with that.
So you mentioned being on Front Street, having your business looking over the harbor. Is that what you aspire to for Nia? Or just talk a little bit about like what the ultimate goal is for Nia Concierge.
The audacious goal?
Yeah.
The audacious goal. Thank you, Nikki, for that word. The audacious goal.
Shout out to Nikki.
Nia. Yes. She's traveling right now, thank God. When she comes back, I hope she's ready. But the audacious goal is Nia having her own floor. I would love to buy that building. Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate goal, is to buy the building. And Nia has a floor in that building. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Don't ask what the building's going to be called. But Nia's going to have her name on the glass door. We're going to have a whole floor. And when I first started Nia, I knew I wanted her to be bigger, but I didn't know how big. I didn't know and realized that I have it within me to confidently state my dreams.
Yes.
And as long as I keep stating my dreams and stating my vision for my baby, my business, I know where I'm going. Yeah. I know what I'm aiming for. So no, I didn't initially think of Nia being on Front Street with the harbor view. Mm-hmm. I just thought of Nia at where she is right now, mm-hmm. in the dining room. And, she's got the desk from when I was a kid in primary school. And it's just working it out right there and then. Mm-hmm. And again, that's being transparent. But as I buy the printer, I bought the laptop. I'm about to get a flat screen and hook mm-hmm. it up to the laptop instead of getting a desktop. And she's going to be bigger. She's going to be way bigger than that. Mm-hmm. And we are virtual. Yeah. But eventually we are going to be in-house, working with our clients in their locations. Mm-hmm. And then we eventually will have our building where our clients can come in and tap into their system, and right there and then in our lovely AC space with a comfort view can get their work done with us there guiding them through it.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm all about the big vision, the audacious vision, because I think that's what you need. Like you said, initially you just thought you were going to be where you are, where you're there now. So that doesn't mean you stop dreaming. You still dream. You still aspire to greatness. And we are here as part of this program to support you through that process. That's really what it's about for us.
That is it. And it's a safe space. So even though I'm here telling the listening public about my audacious dreams, somebody will say, well, don't say that. Somebody might take your dream. Mm-hmm. Like I said, nobody can add that spice like Nia can. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You don't have what Sherlrina has. Yes. You don't know who she knows. Yes. You don't know who's out there that we are already working with that are adding to our acumen. Yeah. And helping us to build up to that goal. Mm-hmm. And I keep saying us and we because nobody works for me. Right. Nobody works for Sherlrina. We work at Nia Concierge. We work with Nia Concierge as a collective to help it move forward. And literally when you employ people, that's another thing. When you employ people, it's not to fill a need. Right. You're employing people who see your vision, who see your mission, who understand where you want to take your business. Write it down. You are not hiring just to get some help. You are hiring somebody to get your vision from where it is now to where you see it. Yep. I feel like I'm preaching at this point.
You are. But I'm about to say amen.
That's it. Like,
start talking in tongues.
Yes, but that's what you're doing. Yeah. And that's another thing with my cohort members that I see outside of our meetings is they're helping me. I'm helping them. We're helping each other get our businesses from where it is to that visionary space. Yeah. That they hold up high up in the sky, wherever it is. Mm-hmm.
And it's important. I mean, I feel like all of the Nia-isms that we've gone through today are important for those who are listening, right?
Yes.
And they may be on the fence. They're like, I don't know, I'm not so sure. I do feel like there is a way. There are people that want to help you.
Yes.
I would encourage people to reach out to build the support systems that you have built, right, in place, because it makes a difference, and you don't have to be alone. Listen to what she's saying and take advantage of opportunities as they exist.
They do exist.
So I want to give you an opportunity for those who are like listening and are like, yeah, whatever, I'm still not convinced. What would you say to them to maybe encourage them to take that next step or to take that leap of faith?
Are you happy where you are now? Are you satisfied with how you're waking up and pushing someone else's dream? You're making someone else's time. Don't be fooled. When you're an entrepreneur, you're making time, but you're making time on a schedule that works for you, works for your family, works for the business model that you are creating. Are you ready to see your full potential that everyone keeps talking about? Mm-hmm. With me, people said, you're so strong. I had somebody say to me just the other day, you're so strong, I'm afraid of you because you're so strong. And I never knew I put that type of fear in somebody. Mm-hmm. Are you tired of moving job to job? Because I did. Every year I moved to job because I just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered, and I had my daughter, and God thought that my little girl was going to make me stay. Mm-hmm. But no. That's why I'm where I am now. Are you ready to release your full potential? The other word I'll use is luminosity. Yeah. Releasing what is within you to be the best you can be. It will be hard. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. But when you step out in your boldness, in your stance, and say, I'm doing it, I'm going to make this happen, it will unfold. And everyone has a higher power or belief system. Mm-hmm. I'll say mine is God. Mm-hmm. And without him, nothing is impossible. Mm-hmm. So take your faith and in your purse and walk out that door. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying quit today, but if you have a baby inside of you, if you have a business idea inside of you that's cooking and it's burning, it keeps kicking at you. And every time something happens at that day job, and you're like, I'm had enough. Yeah. And that business idea just keeps saying, I'm ready. Let it come out. Mm-hmm. Let it come out. It's scary, yes. But we have things here like the BEDC. We have programs that BEDC offers. I started prior to COVID watching BEDC's free webinars. Mm-hmm. And that's what gave me the courage when we locked on in March of 2020 to say, I'm going online, I'm going to buy that domain and create that, and I'm going to name that baby Nia Concierge. Mm-hmm. Because of watching BEDC's free webinars. I wasn't able to pay for the classes. Mm-hmm. I'm able to take them now, but just taking the free webinars, mm-hmm. It's like, and I'm taking notes, and I still have my notes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, like BEDC literally, whether I wanted to admit or not, helped me to get where I am today from free webinars. Right. I joined incubators. My first incubator I joined was actually Reset and Reboot, which helped me change my mindset. Mm-hmm. And that was Janice Mullings. And she's an actual life coach. Mm-hmm. And that group actually helped to change my mindset in the process of watching the webinars. And then I went into an incubator that I was referred to by another business owner. And I was like, I don't know this girl, Nikki, but I'll try. I went and looked her up. I said, the brand line, I'm already following her. I was like, okay, let's see what it's all about. And that's where I met and got to sit with women who I admired, mm-hmm. like Carla Zhu, mm-hmm. who is now my sister in business, who I now walk with hand in hand into our next vision together. Mm-hmm. I met people like Felicia DeRozia. Mm-hmm. They call her DeRozia, that's her name. That's Fee's name. I met DeRozia, and Fee is like, that's my girl. We check in at least once a month. Mm-hmm. And I've met so many other women that I would have never been able to sit in a room virtually, rather physically, mm-hmm. to learn and to be coached and encouraged mm-hmm. through running a business. So when I say, are you ready? Are you ready to meet your new friends? Are you ready to meet your new opportunities? Are you ready to enhance yourself, to develop yourself, to transition yourself from where you are in that 30-degree point to another 180.
Yeah.
Are you ready to transform and morph into that butterfly that you are capable of being?
Right now, look at her. See these Nia-isms. Y'all thought I was playing. I'm serious about this.
And it's not scripted. This is not, there's no paper here.
We're going to watch it back and we writing them down. She going to have a book. Look, we're manifesting that today. No, I think that everything you said, I am like high-fiving, amen, and doing the whole thing because I think it's important. There's so many gems that you've dropped today that I think people will be receptive to, right? Like those ones, like you said, that are not sure. There's a way forward. You can do it. No, you don't have to quit your job today.
No.
There's so many things that you can do in preparation for kind of meeting what that real goal is. So we did a lot of mine in our business today.
We did, and I'm glad. And every time I speak, somebody will hit me up and like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if one person goes tears to their eyes and moves forward, the job is done.
Yep. Success.
The job is done.
Yep. And I feel like we did a lot of that today. So I just want to thank you for coming on Mind Your Business.
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for Nia Concierge. Definitely you have what we need in terms of supporting our stakeholders because they all need that type of support.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to promote you, continue to big you up so that we can see you grow to reach that harbor view like you want. Okay.
And I will continue to take BDC with me on the journey because even though I've seen those webinars, I'm still watching them again.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm still watching those webinars because they're still so informative. And I can sincerely say I appreciate the fact that when I pick up the phone and call, whoever I'm talking to is vested in what I have to say.
Oh, we didn't pay her to say that.
No, they didn't. I am not getting anything in return for saying that. But when you know you have someone else you can lean on in your own country who looks like you, walks the same streets that you do, it makes a world of a difference.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate you coming here, minding your business with us. And we ended by saying, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Who will? No one else but you.
That's right.
Thank you, Jamillah.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.